What's up, y'all? It's Holdingles, owner of HI Productions, and today I'm going to talk to you about how I make $100 to $200 an hour filming with my DJI Mavic 2 Pro. I'm a filmmaker and cinematographer, so I get hit up a lot about a bunch of different projects. But what I get hit up most about is my drone work, because I do a lot of FPV stuff. I do a lot of dynamic stuff with drones. And that's kind of really how I got started. Buying a drone and getting into drone work is probably one of the best investments I've made with my time and my money, because that's kind of what people see me as, like, hey, he's a drone pilot. So I branded myself in that way, and it leads me into other projects to do not just drone work, but making an entire film. So I would definitely recommend getting your Part 107 and becoming a commercial pilot. So the first thing you're gonna need to do is actually buy a drone, and DJI is the best. It might be a little more expensive than cheaper drones, but they are the best in my opinion, and most filmmakers would say so. And if you're just getting into it, I would get either a Mavic 2 Pro or the new Mavic Air 2, I think it is. They're just really compact, really easy to travel with, really easy to use. I mean, they shoot 4K, 30 frames per second. You can shoot a flat color profile, shoots a 10-bit color profile. It's just an amazing camera for how small it is, and I definitely recommend getting one. Then you're gonna want to register your drone immediately after that. And once you register your drone, you're gonna need to study for your Part 107, which takes a while because it's not super easy, but it's not hard. Take your Part 107, and once you pass that, I think you have to get to 70 or above, which is fairly easy to do. That's good for 2 years, I think, and then you're good to go. You're good to fly commercially. Once you get your Part 107, you can start building your clientele base. I'm not gonna get into how to do that because that's kind of the fun part, but once you are able to get some recurring clients, you're gonna have to have some way of invoicing them and getting them to pay you. And as they pay you, you might want to think to get your business license and maybe LLC or sole proprietorship or something like that, just because you're gonna have to pay taxes on that money. Unless you just want to do everything under the table, which you could probably do for a while and just get paid under the table. But either way, you have to invoice them. How I invoice is through QuickBooks, and QuickBooks is the easiest way for me. I mean, I run an LLC, so it's really organized. Let's just put it that way. But you can invoice people via Venmo, whatever it is, Cash App, PayPal, plenty of ways to do it. But you want to make sure that process is seamless, and you want to make sure that it's professional. Once you get all that done and organized and you have a process, then you can start filming and learning how to get those really, really crisp cinematic shots. And that's where I'm gonna take you right now. I'm gonna take you on a job that I did recently, so y'all can kind of get a feel of how to do it and how I do it. So I normally shoot everything out of the back of my Jeep because I'm traveling a lot. I'm using the Mavic 2 Pro, and I usually use these Polar Pro ND filters, because you're always going to need ND filters unless you're shooting early in the morning or later in the day. But before all that, you need to make sure you have your insurance and your Part 107 if you're flying commercially. So I have that on deck all the time, just in case. And you want to register your drones as well. Just make sure all that's good to go before you fly, because you never know. And it's illegal for you to fly commercially if you don't have that. Before I fly, I like to look around and kind of see what the exposure is going to be like on my drone. So it's overcast right now, so I'll probably use an ND 8, but if it was super bright outside, I'd probably throw on an ND 16. So let's talk about this drone and the camera and the specs. So when I'm filming, I'm usually filming at 2.7K, 60 frames per second, and I keep my shutter speed at 120 and my ISO as low as I can possibly get it, around 100 to 200. I don't like going over 800 because then it gets grainy. And I want to keep my aperture as low as possible. So I'll keep that at around 2.8. I don't like to go over 4 because then in my opinion, it doesn't look as good. I also sometimes shoot at 4K. This camera only goes up to 30 frames per second in 4K, so I'll keep my shutter speed at 120. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty simple to use. The camera's a really good camera, the quality is amazing, and yeah. It's pretty loud right now. We're right next to the job site, but I like to get right next to the job site when I'm flying my drone, because I like to have the line of sight and I like to see where my drone's going. So when you're filming a job site like this, you want to make sure your shots are seamless, smooth, and you don't want them to be jittery and shit, because that's just gonna make, nobody wants to watch that. You want to make sure your exposure is perfect, and you want to make sure you're getting the entire job site in the shot, and then you can worry about getting up close shots. But first you want to make sure you get the surroundings, you get to make sure that your subject, whatever you're filming, is in the shot entirety, and then worry about getting that one wide angle shot, and then you kind of work your way in and get more like up close shots. But let's take the drone up and let's see what I can get. I haven't filmed on campus in a minute. So, are you filming? Yeah. When I'm flying, a lot of times, it's hard to see on my screen, even when I turn the exposure all the way up on my screen. So I like to get in the shaded area so there's no glare on my screen and I can see exactly what I'm filming.